Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. Today I want to show you a completely different way to learn French. Not by memorizing endless vocabulary lists, not by studying grammar books for years, but by using patterns. Patterns are the shortcut that will help you learn French much faster than you ever thought possible. And the best part is you can start using them immediately. There are really two sides to language learning. First, what you say. This part is actually easier than most people think, because with patterns you can start building sentences very quickly. The second part is understanding what other people say. That takes more time. Your ears need training, you need exposure. But here's the good news. You do not need perfect listening skills before you start speaking. Speaking comes much faster. French and English share thousands of words. Why? Because both languages come partly from Latin and Greek. That means you already know a surprising amount of French vocabulary. You just don't realize it yet. And once you understand the patterns connecting the two languages, your vocabulary grows extremely fast. Here's our first pattern. In English, many words end in T. In French, the same words often end in T. For example, liberty becomes liberté. Quality becomes qualité. University becomes université. Curiosity becomes curiosité. Can you already see the pattern? Now let's test it. What do you think these words become in French? Activity, creativity, electricity, possibility. The answers are activité, créativité, électricité, possibilité. You're already learning French vocabulary logically instead of memorizing randomly. Now here's an even more powerful pattern. Many English words ending in ION are almost identical in French. Nation, information, observation, administration, invitation. The spelling is often exactly the same, the main difference is pronunciation. This single pattern unlocks thousands of words instantly. Now let's go even further. Many French verbs are created from nouns. You take the noun, remove the ending, and add ER. For example, information becomes informé, observation becomes observé, confirmation becomes confirmé. Suddenly, one word gives you multiple useful words. This is one of my favorite French grammar rules. When multiple verbs appear together, only the first verb is conjugated. The other verbs stay in their infinitive form. I call this the locomotive rule. The first verb pulls the others like a train. This rule makes sentence building much easier. For example, je veux observer et confirmer. Now let's learn one of the most useful formulas in French. Je veux. It means I want. Then you simply add an infinitive verb. Je veux observer. I want to observe. Je veux confirmer. I want to confirm. Je veux manger. I want to eat. One small formula and suddenly you can create hundreds of sentences. Now let's build a real sentence together. I want to verify the information. First, je veux. Then, vérifier. And finally, l'information. Put everything together. Je veux vérifier l'information. That's a complete, natural French sentence. Now let's make longer sentences. To say before doing something, we use avant de. For example, avant de confirmer l'information. Before confirming the information. To say after doing something, we use après avoir. For example, après avoir préparé le rapport. After preparing the report. These expressions are extremely useful in conversation. In French, every noun is masculine or feminine. At first, this seems difficult, but patterns help again. Words ending in tion are almost always feminine. La nation, la présentation, l'information, and many other endings follow reliable patterns too. So again, logic beats memorization. Another easy pattern. English adverbs ending in ly often become ment in French. Rapidly becomes rapidement. Simply becomes simplement. Directly becomes directement. Again, you're not memorizing random vocabulary, you're learning systems. Now watch what happens when we combine patterns. Before confirming the information, I want to verify the documentation. In French, avant de confirmer l'information, je veux vérifier la documentation. That sounds advanced, but it's actually built from simple reusable patterns. This is how learners progress quickly. Some people say just listen long enough and you learn naturally. That can work, but for adults it's usually very slow. Grammar is not the enemy. Grammar is simply the blueprint of the language. It's a collection of patterns discovered over centuries. Once you understand those patterns, everything becomes easier. Language learning happens in stages. First, you learn core patterns. Then, you start building sentences. Then, you begin having conversations. And finally, your listening comprehension catches up naturally. The important thing is this: you do not need perfection before speaking. Let's quickly review what you learned today. The T to T pattern, the I-O-N pattern, the L-Y to M-E-N-T pattern, turning nouns into verbs, the locomotive rule, and sentence formulas like je veux. These few patterns already unlock thousands of French words and sentences. The beautiful thing about patterns is that they work in every situation. Business, travel, healthcare, social conversations. The patterns stay the same, only the vocabulary changes. That's what makes this method so powerful. And that's the big idea I want you to remember today. French is not just memorization, it's a system. And once you understand the patterns, you can start speaking much faster than you think. Thank you so much for listening, and most importantly, start using these patterns today. À bientôt!